to all the distinguished guests. And also like to thank MIM for having us here. We are Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, and also happy to see Mr. Rizal, CEO of SME Corp. We work very closely on many initiatives, including the topic that I'm going to talk today. Yeah. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with MDEC. Can I have a raise of hands, please? All right. Okay, very good. Very good. So we are actually an agency under the Ministry of Digital. We are a private limited company, a special agency or an entity to drive the digital economy agenda for Malaysia, where we started from the MSC back in the mid-1990s. Today, the discussion has changed. The conversation is very different from how it was way back in the mid-90s and the early 2000s. We are more advanced than today. But however, we must also take note that other countries are also more advanced and moving faster as well. Right? So today's topic is on MSME digitalization, a national agenda driving growth and innovation. So as we know, SME also involves, like what Mr. Kabinej mentioned, micro. Yeah. So today's topic, we're going to touch a bit on including micro as well. And they basically are engine of the economy. Yeah. Why? Because it contributes about almost 40% of the country's GDP. Yeah. And close to half of labor force across the country. So you can see the impact that MSME brings to the economy. And a lot of countries in the world today, without the MSMEs, there is not really a big economy out there. Yeah? So it's crucial for us to see how we need to manage this and move this forward. So I'll share with you some of our aspiration from a government point of view. How do we want to deal with this? And again, it is not just MDEC's view. I would like to say we have worked very closely together with Kementerian Pembangunan Usahawan and Koperasi, together with SME Corp, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Trade International, with Bank Negara Malaysia. We have more than 20 over agencies and ministries who have worked together with us to drive this agenda for MSMEs. So we are not alone. Yeah. Therefore, there is definitely an opportunity for us to grow further, yeah, and innovate. And this we can do very quickly with adopting digital solutions and services. As we all know, there is no price for this kind of statement, right? So it's given today that if you are not digitized, you're not going to go very far. Yeah, your competition is taking that opportunity and advantage. So if you don't move fast, they are eating up your market slowly. And without you knowing, somebody in the backyard or in a small room in a house is already eating your market share as we speak. Yeah, because that's how pervasive and powerful tech and also digital is today. Yeah. A bit of overview, some data, some statistics in terms of where we are vis-a-vis some of the selected countries. Yeah. As you can see on your left, percentage-wise, our contribution to GDP is lower than the benchmark countries. Earlier, we showed about 39.1%. Yes, it's good. But against other countries, are we really there? So how much more work did we need to do? So we can see here, we contribute about 39%. But larger economies, the MSMEs contribute about more than 60%. It's close to 2/3 of the economy driven by this group of entities. In Malaysia today, registered businesses, micro, small, medium enterprises, they're about 1.17 million, of which 900,000, which is about 78% of them, are actually micro. Yeah, but 240,000 are medium size, and about 18,000, 19,000 plus, they are on the medium large bracket. Yeah. So how do we manage this, and how do we grow them to be more innovative and enlarge our economy pie? Yeah, that's the question. And of course, if you look at GDP contribution per SME, we are still lower than a lot of the countries, right? When we average it out. So if you look at Denmark, with only less than about 1 million SMEs, yeah, 920,000 SMEs. They contribute quite high in terms of their GDP contribution per entity. Yeah. So we have more, but the total number in terms of contribution GDP is not that great yet. Yeah. So why, the question is, why should MSME digitalize? Is this even a question to begin with today? Yeah. I think after COVID, there's the awareness has just skyrocketed. Yeah. It's a no-brainer question. But again, if you peel layer by layer, the why is still not very clear to many people, right? They think, yes, it's important, but what does it give to me? Yeah. Do I need to spend a lot more money? Do I need to convince a lot of people? I don't have my resources ready for this, so what am I going to do, right? So in simple words, at least there are 6 reasons or more. Yeah. So for us to drive productivity, innovation process, innovation product, innovation decision making, we need digital adoption to come in. So how do we attract new customers? Your customers are getting more and more sophisticated. Yeah. If you see your company is going to live through another 20, 30 years, that means your customer is not born yet. You know? So the current customers today who are in their teens, they like everything digital. Yeah. So how are we meeting their needs? And how are we getting their mind share? Secondly, is to prepare financial statements easily. To some companies, medium size and above, this becomes quite natural because you have your ERP solution, etc. But there are a lot of other companies who struggle with this till today, right? So, for example, there are a lot of, say, farmers, fishermen, right, who does their daily work. They collect money on daily basis, but they don't keep records. So for a fisherman to buy a bigger boat is a challenge, although he's hardworking, because banks are not going to give you loan, right? But if they have simple solutions that can actually translate that data into simple income statements, it's easier for the banks to track. So we have already had a good discussion with Bank Negara Malaysia and some of the industry players. Can we drive this agenda so that income statements are feasible and easier to be obtained, and banks can actually endorse it? We are not there yet, but that's another level of conversation that we want to take. Thirdly is, how do you listen to your customer? Is it easier today? Is it more difficult? If you're not in digital, it's definitely going to be easier, because you are not going to analyze social media data. You're not going to look at what people are buying, the trends, etc., and so on and so forth. And how do we hire new talent quickly? So there's a lot of tech behind that. And simplify the e-invoice compliance. That's one of the big agenda today. So it's going to start this year, slowly, gradually, and next year onwards, I think everybody is on board, right? And of course, save time on repetitive tasks. So you can do away with that and make use of your time in a more meaningful and strategic manner. So now, what do we mean by digitalization? So does that mean I'm in TikTok, I'm in Facebook, I'm done? Actually, it's not. Yeah, that is only the front office part of how you are adopting digital. But you must see the end-to-end of the entire spectrum, from back office, mid office, and front office. 15, 20 years ago, you have individual application for this kind of segments. Today, one application can cut across. Yeah. Even you can sell products and inventory management through WhatsApp applications today. Yeah. Is that how advanced things are? And you can generate from inventory management, invoices, bills, income statements, all through WhatsApp applications today. Yeah. And from a government point of view, we also want to take the opportunity to map the right intervention based on the work that we have in place for us. So where do we start? Where do we end? There are about more than 50, maybe agencies or so involved in Malaysia driving MSME digitalization, which is good, which is amazing. It's very good. But it's time for us to unify them and bring them towards one direction, one goal, one vision, so that there's clarity from where you start, where you end. So if you are an entity, you must be very clear, you must understand, oh, if I take this program in this grant, I do this next, right? So today it's a bit difficult right, to understand. You got to knock many doors, and then you got to ask to open up another few more doors, etc. So you want to streamline all these things at the same time. So what, as I just mentioned, government's aim is to streamline fragmented efforts across state, federal, etc. We've done workshops across the country, several workshops. We have engaged individual entities, private sectors, and government agencies. We all have the same common understanding on item 1. Number 2 is to have a shared vision. Number 3 is to have a comprehensive end-to-end digitalization journey. So what is that? I will show in a bit. Yeah. As far as government's policy is concerned, we have various roadmaps and blueprints that have mentioned MSME's agenda today, which is a good thing, right? And we need to have all these things to have a focus on where the MSMEs are and how we're going to digitize, because MSMEs cut across all economic sectors in Malaysia. Yeah. And in summary, and all these blueprints and roadmaps in the country from a policy point of view have highlighted these 5 key themes. 1 is to enhance digital talent. This is extremely important. One of the things that we have discovered in a workshop that we have engaged with industry players who are software sellers to SMEs, said, okay, what do you need for you to sell more to your clients? So they said, the clients need grants or funds. That's not a big issue. The biggest issue that the clients, who are the SMEs, have today is talent, digital talent. Yeah, it's very difficult for them to hire. If they hire, they may leave for another extra 100 ringgit to another company, and to rehire is another process for them. So, easy answer, I don't want digital. I'd rather live with what I have. It's more difficult than what it is today. So how do we solve that kind of issue? So these are some things that we are thinking about. And we have somewhat solution on this. Next is public-private collaboration and knowledge networks. I think government alone can't work on this, so there's definitely need some support and assistance from everybody, from industry association, from academia, from think tanks, etc., and so on and so forth. And it's also important to raise digital awareness. I think it's easier today compared to 5-6 years ago, but it's still required. And promoting MSME market access and exports. With digital, perhaps it's easier. We have had MDEC, we have a program called E-Usahawan. Maybe some of you are familiar with that. So that program, we have seen numerous, dozens and dozens and dozens success cases where individuals selling in Pasar Malam with 3,000 ringgit monthly income with digital adoption through our program, they are earning more than 30,000 a month. Housewife, 7,000, earning 78,000 a month. I'm not making this up. Yeah? These are real numbers. Sometimes we wonder, what am I doing here? Why not I will jump into the bandwagon and gain out of it? But these are all real cases. And of course, last but not least is the financial assistance for digital transformation. If there's are there grants? Are there alternative funding? We know MIDF gives funds, financing as low as 2%. So how do we go about all these things, right? So what's our approach? What is government's approach in this? How are we going to tackle this? So this is the thinking that we have, and we have thought through with all these agencies that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, KUSKOP, SME Corp, MITI, Bank Negara, Kementerian Komunikasi, Kementerian Digital, etc., and so on. Yeah. And it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all solution. You can't have one, like a cookie-cutter approach and say, okay, everybody adopt digital. You can't. So you must look at every person or every entity as a persona. Yeah. From level 1 to level 5. From unaware, basic, developing, established, advanced. Why? Because every one of them have different sets of problems, different set of needs for adoption of digital solutions and services. So that's why we need to really custom make all these solutions, mapping them with technology solutions and also technology service providers. So this is something that we already have, and we are expanding this further with our partners. So a bit more detail in terms of approach. We look at from cost and profit perspective versus back, mid, front office, what type of tech adoption for which process is important. So this is already mapped. This is one layer. So if you double click, you get many layers. So that's work in progress, somewhat done. But this is the thinking that we have. So this approach will be across Malaysia for MSMEs, by federal and by state. Right? So then you have a very uniform way of driving adoption across the country. So it's one language, one voice kind of thing. Yeah? So, and all these applications, we also must know what's the maturity level of these entities. So we should be able to advise them, okay, if you are X person or X company in level 3, these are the reasons why you need this type of applications. So it's a bit detailed. So you're not saying these are the software and solutions, come and get all these things. We're not saying that. So there's a way of profiling them. There's a system, and based on the system, the needs are actually matched, right? To at best effort basis. Yeah? And we have done surveys and workshops, and we have tested this. And if you look at all these 5 levels, the challenges are different from one another. Yeah? And how do we do this? We do through 2 big approaches: the physical touch point and also a digital platform, which will be out in the future. So from a physical touch point, there are already existing infrastructures available from government, and we are using that to drive this for urban and rural areas across the country. Yep. So with that, I'd like to end by saying we cannot do this alone. We need to collaborate, and it's not about the plan is good and well, but it's also about execution, how well we do it. And thank you so much.